Finesse2Tymes'ın bodyguard, who's facing charges in relation to the Little Rock nightclub shooting, was in court today. As previously reported, police found shell casings at the scene they say matched the bodyguard's gun.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to part 2 of our Little Rock Power Ultra Lounge series, where in 2017, 25 people were shot at a rap concert. If you haven't checked out part 1, I recommend doing that before listening to this one. There's a link to that video below. In part 1, we covered rapper Finesse2Tymes'ın exclusive interrogation. In part 2, we're bringing you another never-before-heard interrogation, this time of his bodyguard, Kentrail Dirt Gwyn. Some of the things he has to say are interesting, to say the least. Just as a quick recap, you'll remember in part 1, investigators were trying to determine if Finesse, or anyone in his entourage, had a gun or fired back in the club that night. Remember, he's a felon and shouldn't be in possession of one. Finesse was adamant that he did not possess a gun, claiming that his licensed bodyguard was the only person in his entourage with one. Well, 2 actually, according to Finesse. But the detectives are starting to notice some inaccuracies between the 2 stories, especially when Dirt, the bodyguard and subject of this interrogation, gives a slightly different version of a few key facts. You let me know what you think. Let's get to it.
You're listening to a Crime Nexus exclusive.
Today's date is July the 18th at 13:28 hours. I'm Detective Dillard here, my partner, Detective Williams. We're here at Capitol Street in relation to incident number 2017-078948. We're interviewing black male Kentrail Gwyn. Gwyn is Gwynn. Kentrail is common spelling. His date of birth is 1/3/92. Kentrail, you called us stating that you wanted to give us a statement.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And before talking to you, we read you this Miranda rights form, and you decided each one saying you understand them. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You have a 12th grade education, and you circled saying you can read and write. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Addition beside that, and you also signed it saying you understand all those statements.
Yes, sir.
All right. And at the bottom right here, there's a waiver of rights. I read those rights to you, and you signed it, agreeing to waive your rights and give me a statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Kentrail, when we're talking, man, just kind of talk up for
yes,
us so that our recordings can catch what you're saying, all right?
Yes, sir.
And we're here in reference to the incident that occurred there at Power 220 West 6th Street here in Little Rock, Arkansas, with that incident.
Yes,
and Kentrail, were you down here on that particular day, July the 1st, at a concert with Finesse2Tymes?
Yes, sir.
And how do you know Finesse2Tymes also is Ricky Hampton? How do you know him?
I was hired to be his personal security guard, executive protection.
Right, and when you say hired, he hired you, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How many times prior to this have you been his security guard?
For 2 months.
So
About 2 months.
So basically, any kind of concert he does, anything, you're there with him. Is that correct?
Most of the time, yes, sir.
And as a security guard hired by Ricky Hampton, aka Finesse2Tymes, what do you have to have? You know, as a security guard, what do you carry with you?
Well, I carry my taser, flashlight, baton, spray, and a firearm.
Okay, what kind of firearm do you carry?
A XD.
Okay, and you are a licensed security out of Memphis. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you carry any other handguns?
No, sir.
Okay. And that particular night when you were here in Memphis, well, here in Little Rock with Finesse and some other guys, were y'all on stage or were y'all in the crowd?
On stage.
Okay. And you were in there when the shots began to fire. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me from that point on, what did you do? What did Finesse do? What happened at that time when those shots was fired?
They was partying and whatever. I was just looking around the crowd and whatever, observed. And I was talking to the owner about the security, because I noticed one of security helping me move everybody off stage so it could just be us on stage. So after it happened, he was like, I'm going to go get him. But then something happened where he was like, well, I ain't going to pay y'all till tomorrow. Something about the security was something up in there. So after that happened, the guy was like, the show was going smooth. It was a short girl. I don't know what they call her. They call her ugly. They call her ugly bitch. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's what they call her. She was on stage. I was standing right next to her when it first happened. And all I heard was him like, a guy asked for him for a swisher. And he was like, I don't smoke swishers, I smoke back. And before he can get the wood part, I don't think plow.
Now, who said that?
2Tymes said, I don't smoke swishers, I smoke backwood. Right. Well, he tried to say backwood, but he only got back at her, and that's when the shots began to fire. And as I looked, I just seen basically like everybody was at a standstill because they was shocked, except the people that was in the area right there. And people on stage was really, I really can't tell what people behind me were doing. I can just tell what people in front of me were doing.
What area were they in?
Who?
You said the people in the crowd.
They was in front of, they was right directly in front of me because I was standing on the stairs a little bit close to the door. And once when I heard the shots, I paused for a minute and just looked, and I just seen everybody. And then that's when the gas started running towards the stage way, and I grabbed my, I reached for my pistol. Then he started shooting towards the stage, hitting somebody else. I didn't shoot then. I just took cover, and that's what everybody else did on stage. Everybody else fell down. Finesse2Tymes, he was laying down. Everybody was laying down. That's when I got up, and then I just seen everybody run to that one door, and I heard there you go, there you go, there you go. You just seen about 4 different guys with dreads and with guns. You just see silver gun, and they started shooting. There was a guy right next to me who was trying to get out. He was light-skinned, and he kind of had like blonde hair in his head a little bit. He got shot right next to me. And I was trying to grab him and put him, I don't know who he was. I was trying to grab him, pull him with me, but the shots kept firing, and I got spooked, and I panicked and started shooting back at the guys who were running towards us.
What did they look like? You said when you first...
2 of them had dreads, I know for sure.
Right.
I want to say it was 4, but I'm not all the way for sure. Because it was a dog, but I know it was 3 off top. But 2 of them had dreads.
You know what they were wearing? What color clothes?
No, sir. I don't know.
Now, you said they were shooting at y'all. Now, when you say y'all, who you talking about?
No, I didn't say they were shooting at y'all. I said they were shooting towards the crowd.
Right.
Okay. That's why I said it was so many. That's why I'm saying I don't know. I can't say if he was shooting at us, but I can't say if he was shooting at somebody else that was on the stage too.
Right. But they were running towards y'all, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now you said running towards
me.
Towards you.
Yes, sir.
So at this point, where are you standing at when you saw these guys come?
I'm standing on the stairway. Everybody running, trying to get up out the door. It's a big old crowd, so I'm kind of still like on the stage way, but I'm getting down. I'm moving out because I got a taser on my taser. I'm hitting my taser. It's everybody kind of moving out my way so we can go ahead and, roll. But at the middle of that, like I said, I'm still looking back because it's a lot going on, and basically I'm like the last person leaving out the back. And the only thing I heard, there you go, there you go, there you go. And I feel like it was a setup from the club because also my stuff got stolen out the vehicle. My bullets, it ain't really important. It wasn't nothing really important.
You said bullets. What were your bullets in?
It was in a backpack in my trunk in the Mercedes-Benz.
So somebody went into that vehicle, stole some stuff out of there?
Yeah, they stole a couple of things.
Right. Country, let's back up a little bit, man, to when y'all got there. Which door did y'all come into?
When we got there, I was approached by a police officer. He said it was a police officer. He looked at my gun and said, are you licensed? And I said, yes, sir, I am licensed. And he said, well, let me see your credentials. And I showed him my credentials, and he was like, okay, that's your handgun permit. Where your security? I said, here go my security. And then I also showed him I was a bounty hunter, too, even though that's illegal. I was just showing him that, I'm legit. I got a sense of mind.
Right.
So with that said, he was like, well, you gonna park your car right there and go in because the chauffeur the club finna close it, too. So the owner came out. The owner said,
phone disconnected.
He was trying to get his money. He was trying to get the money 2Tymes. He was trying to get the back end or whatever. But the owner, he don't want to do the back end right there. So can we go to the back? So we all pulled around to the back.
Do you know the owner's name?
No, sir.
Okay, can you describe him to me?
I can remember he was bald head, like my height, had a mustache, kind of like your color a little bit.
So he made contact with y'all in the front?
Yes, sir, in the back.
Okay, gotcha. So y'all drove around to the back. That's when the owner came back there and met with y'all.
He met us in the front first.
Right.
Because they were trying to get the back end, like the deposit money that he supposed to give for the club, for the concert. And he was like, because usually 2Tymes don't get out of the car until that's done. But the dude, he didn't want to do it right here. It was too much money. And so we was like, can you pull it to the back? And we pulled to the back, and you know, everything looked at Cope was steady. But then when we was in the, well, like I said, when he was chopping up about the money, that when the people was calling. I guess that's when the police officer, I found out he was a security guard that day. He was calling and asking for the money, like, hey, y'all gonna pay me? And the owner was like, man, I'll pay you tomorrow whenever I can, you know, like that. So when he said that, I guess it's like this when everybody knew to come in with their guns. That was so crazy. What you mean because the club wasn't packed like that. The club wasn't packed like that. When we got on the stage, the club got packed. You seen people coming from everywhere. And when we came after the whole shooting, we came out the front door and came around. There was a lot of people back there. They were just posted like they knew something was going on in there, but they wasn't scared. Right. You know.
So when y'all came in, was there anybody else carrying a gun with y'all entourage?
No, sir. Not I'm aware of.
Okay, but you the only one.
Yes.
Now,
sir.
Did you have one gun or do you have two guns?
I only have one.
You had one gun.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so when y'all came in, y'all got on the stage, you advised that you heard the shots. The shots came from the crowd first. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you have a badge when you came in there?
Yes,
okay,
so
you had two badges.
Yes, sir.
And they're your security badges, right?
And I had my bulletproof vest on that say security.
You had that on as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you ever take it off?
No.
You kept it on the whole time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What color pants did you have on?
Green.
Okay. And you had what kind of
black security shirt?
What kind of holster did you have?
Leg holster.
On your right or left side?
Right side.
Okay.
With my badge, I had a badge right here. That was my bounty hunting badge. It said U.S. Future Recovery. And then I had my security. It said security special officer.
Right your neck.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so y'all in there, man. Shots pop off. You advised you saw. Did you see somebody? Did you see the person shooting in the audience?
Yes, sir.
Could you describe him to me and who you saw shot?
Dark skin and short. He had a haircut similar to mine. He didn't have facial hair a lot. And he had like a little mark on his face. Like a mark or something, I think, on his face.
On the right cheek, you pointing at?
Okay. Yes, sir.
So at what point did you start to fire your weapon?
When I was trying to help this guy up after he had been shot, I was trying to pull him. I ain't gonna lie, I really thought he was with us. I was trying to, hey, come on, let's get up, let's go. But he wasn't really moving fast enough in the space, in the pace, and then the only thing you just heard the guy, there you go. And next thing you know, they running towards us with guns. They started shooting first. I really don't know when I got grazed. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I know I got grazed. So.
Okay. And at that point, that's when you started to shoot back at them?
Yes, sir. When they started shooting towards me. Once I could see them, knew exactly where I was shooting it. You know, I was trying to shoot, but at the same time, still people running.
Right. Now what I'm trying to do is get to were you in the hallway or were you still by the stage at this time?
Yes, sir.
You still by the stage?
Yes, sir.
When they started shooting at y'all? Well, shooting at you.
Yes, sir.
When you was trying to get down, did you?
Yes, I was trying to get up at the door, by the stage. It was like right there.
Was Finesse with you at that time?
No, sir. He was already gone.
He was already out.
I don't even know how he get out there quick.
So you didn't help him out. So when you got out, he was already out.
He was out the hallway. I got him out the whole building though.
Right.
I don't know how he got out the club because I don't think I seen everybody.
Okay.
I just seen everybody down on the ground. You know.
So shooting happens. Y'all get on the ground before you know it. He's already in the hallway.
No. He wasn't in the hallway yet.
Okay.
Soon as the first shots fired, everybody was like, "Oh my God." You know, stuck on the stage because everybody could see. Everybody kind of felt like it wasn't towards them, but they were still nervous. So everybody kind of still on the stage.
Right.
But when he came running towards our way, it like he saw somebody on stage, and he wasn't aiming towards 2Tymes or nothing like that. It was somebody else on this stage. He was aiming it, and I think that's how he ended up shooting my partner Dizzle. Well, he really not my partner. His 2Tymes partner, dude.
Now was this on the stage with y'all?
I don't even know.
Okay.
Some people say he was.
The reason I'm asking that because we went to Alabama. We talked to 2Tymes.
Mm-hmm.
Now 2Tymes is saying that Dizzle was in the crowd. He was never on the stage. Dizzle was in the crowd when he was shot.
I know he was drinking.
Right now, what's getting me caught up in it? Because I want you to be honest with me.
Yes,
is the whole deal with them shooting towards the stage because there's a big ass mirror behind the stage, you know.
Yes,
and you said you were grazed.
Yes, sir.
So that means the bullet kept traveling. And nothing is struck behind that stage, so I'm trying to get a picture of where you were exactly.
But you know what I'm saying? In the hallway. That's what I'm talking about.
So you're in the hallway.
How I'm facing is I don't know how to explain. How I'm faced it towards the. You got a picture?
Yeah. Okay. You got a diagram we're gonna show you on this of where you were exactly, and we'll go from there on the whole deal. But you never got Finesse out. He got out on his own.
Yeah, so he got into the hallway on his own. But when I finally got into the hallway and started using my taser, like I would tell you, and everybody moved, that's when I was like, man, we gotta move, man. We gotta go and get up out of here. Let's get up out of here.
Did Finesse ever have a gun?
No, sir. I didn't see him on one. He didn't have one.
Did Marquez ever have a gun? Marquez, the hype man, the one in the red shirt. The hype man, the skinny dude, dark skin with
The other dude,
hat.
Mike.
You don't know him?
No.
Only person you did was Finesse.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you don't deal with nobody else in the crowd.
I messed with his brother. That's how I met him. Was his little brother.
Was his brother there tonight?
Who all rode in the car with y'all from Memphis?
Me, 2Tymes, Dizzle, that guy. And I want to say a female.
So Dizzle rode y'all
I believe so.
in the Benz.
I believe so.
Now, I don't want you to believe. I need you to know because you in that car. You see what I'm saying?
I ain't for sure.
Now,
I drove.
who's the driver?
I'm trying to think. Matter of fact, the hype man, I think that the guy with the red shirt,
Yeah.
he was in the other car.
What other car was it?
It was a black van. It was like, when I say it was a lot of them, Because they got their vice doors up this time.
Got you. Now,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to be honest with me. Was there any other guns taken in that club by Finesse Entourage that you know
I
of?
believe so.
You believe so?
Yes, sir.
What makes you say you believe so?
Because they came too deep. Nobody ain't coming in deep without no guns into a whole another city. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And he called them, and he called his chief to make sure that they secured him. That's what he was telling us after the whole stuff. They supposed to secure me, all this stuff. So I'm.
Did he ever tell you to carry two guns?
No, sir.
So you did not have two guns on you in there?
No, sir.
The only gun you had was an XD?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's the gun that you fired?
Yes, sir.
How many times did you fire that gun?
I don't know, sir. I kind of blanked out and got scared.
Okay, just shoot me a number out there. How many times you think you pulled that trigger?
Probably over 3, 4.
Okay, so you're shooting a gun because these guys are coming at you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now are you shooting in where the dance floor is, or are you shooting in the hallway?
No, I'm shooting like they were by a bar. They came from their side though.
Okay, so it's across the dance floor.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like y'all on stage. The floor is here.
So here's the stage.
That's
Here's the
bar?
floor. And that's the bar.
Yep.
This
Where
is
the
the
bar
hallway.
is?
Bar's over here.
Oh, okay.
This
No,
that
this
back
here.
door,
Here you
here's
go.
the hallway.
Here you go. Right here. Here you go. Right here. They like they came from here, out right here,
Okay.
and everybody was trying to. It just don't look right, but because it's like we came.
You know that little divider with a stairway on both sides? That's right here, and this is that back door.
Yes, sir.
This is the back door where you say y'all entered at.
And we entered in there,
And it's that long hallway.
walked down there, and we walked up on stage.
Right.
Yes, sir. And that's when it started. The shooting came from right here.
Okay.
It was going over right here.
Going that way to
Yes, sir.
those little couches things and stuff?
Yeah, right up in here. It was to somebody right here.
Okay.
It looked like I seen the guy fall, but I couldn't really tell. Everybody started kind of running after that. And then that's when he started running towards that way, trying to go out.
Right.
But he was it's a lot of people, so he couldn't just run fast as he could.
Right.
So by that time, I guess the dude had his whatever beef they had, they got their guns, ready and fired back.
And what point did you start shooting? Where are you at?
I'm still right here on the stage.
Okay, right here?
Dude started shooting at us. He started shooting at, I ain't gonna say us, with somebody on the stage. And after that, he left off, he started leaving, trying to leave out. And I guess that's when the guy, like, there you go right there. And, and they started shooting people in the back and all, whatever.
Okay.
And that's when I turned around and.
Right here around these stairs?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you know if you hit your target?
No,
sir. Okay. Now, hold on. Do you know if you hit your target or not? Okay. Yes. Did you hit your target? Yes or no?
I don't know.
You don't know if you hit your target. Okay. Now, you got, did you go out the front door or the back door that you came in?
Front.
You went the front door. And so when you get out there, Finesse is already outside with the hype man. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At that time, do you see Finesse or the hype man with the gun in their hand?
No, sir.
When you got into the Benz, did they have a gun in their hand?
No, sir.
That Draco, was that inside the club?
No, sir. It was in the car.
It was in the car.
It was in the
Where in the
trunk.
car?
In the trunk.
Trunk of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you do believe that there was other guys that was with Finesse Entourage took guns into there?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anybody else with a gun flashing on stage?
See, the thing, y'all going, this the thing. It's certain stuff they show me. It's certain people they show me. But they fuck up also.
How long have you known Finesse?
2 months.
2 months. Are y'all related?
No.
How you meet him?
Through his little brother.
You're listening to a crime
And what's his little brother's name?
exclusive.
Trey.
Keontre.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you met him through him.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, how did he approach you to be his security?
His little brother went to jail in Illinois. His little brother called me first. He was like, hey, man, my brother needs security for his concerts and do you want to make a $1,000 a week? I'm like,
Right.
what, $1,000 a week? Because I wasn't making that much. So I like, yeah. I said, it sounds good, but I didn't take the job yet because I try to see my options way it out. But
How often do you purchase guns?
it used to be whenever I kissed somebody.
Catch somebody. Okay.
I was
And-
down the hall.
Right, you're a bounty hunter, got you. Now, did y'all, when y'all left the power in Little Rock, where did y'all go?
To Memphis.
What y'all do in Memphis? Where y'all stop at?
I dropped him off at the hotel and I went home.
You went home?
Yes, sir.
And then next morning y'all got him with Birmingham?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all stop anywhere else?
No, sir.
Look at me. You should be honest with me.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Y'all
No,
ain't stop
sir.
nowhere else.
Went straight to Alabama.
Y'all didn't stop by no gun.
No, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
stop.
Yeah, I bought me a gun.
You bought you a gun,
Yes,
is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Was Finesse with you?
Yes, sir.
Ricky Hampton? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, but you did stop by your gun.
Yes, sir.
Did you be honest with me? I appreciate that, all right?
Yes, sir.
And so at that point, you bought a Glock, and you bought some rounds because you lost your rounds,
Yes,
you know. And just for the record, we found a backpack full of bullets. You know, I'm just letting you know that it was a backpack full of bullets. We found it, everything. So we got that, you know. But that was your backpack full of bullets. Is that correct?
Let's make sure because I can tell you what bullets I had.
See it.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that your backpack?
In a box.
Describe the backpack for
It
me.
was a black and gray. How did they?
Just describe it.
Black and gray.
Okay. All right. And now,
It
did
had
you,
some Dre beats in there, some headphones, some Jordan 7s. In my
all that probably wasn't in there at the time, you know, but we did find it sitting out there, okay?
Oh, yes.
And so you brought that backpack from Memphis to Little Rock, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Why did you bring all those bullets?
No, it wasn't a lot of bullets in there. It was some bullets in there, but I brought the bullets because just in case something ever happened, I could reload. But also, let's see, this is crazy. We were supposed to go to Alabama the next day, so all my stuff was just in there. I know it sounds stupid, but that's how we did it because nobody.
In your gun, did you have extended clip?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to the record at this time? And just for the record, I want to add that you contacted us and you did not want your attorney present to give us a statement. You wanted to give us a statement. Get out the way. Is that correct?
Nah, it wasn't like that. I don't want to say it like that. I was trying to get out the way. I was trying to tell the truth.
But you wanted to give us a statement to tell us the truth about what happened. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to the recorder at this time?
I heard that I saved somebody's life on news. So I don't know if that helped, but
Okay.
We'll be back in contact with you. All right?
All right. We're going to conclude this at 13:55 hours.
In the tense aftermath of the Power Ultra Lounge chaos, an unexpected twist occurred. Nearly 3 weeks post-Carnage, authorities revealed their inaugural arrest. Shockingly, probably one of the only people legally allowed to have a firearm in the club on that nightmarish night. Yep, Kentrail Dirt Gwynn. Finesse2Tymes'ın bodyguard was apprehended on July 17th in Memphis by ATF agents in collaboration with the Little Rock Police Department. The legal labyrinth for Dirt was only beginning. He faced an array of federal charges, notably supplying a firearm to a convicted felon and furnishing armed protection to the same. These charges had their roots in the incident in Forest City, Arkansas, just a week earlier. Authorities allege Dirt was the person who purchased and handed the Draco to Finesse, which was then recklessly discharged in the parking lot, wounding an innocent woman. Initially asserting his innocence, Dirt later shifted his stance, pleading guilty to these federal allegations. A 16-month judicial proceeding culminated in a verdict of time served. However, relief was short-lived. He still had to confront grave accusations at the state level in Arkansas concerning his role in arming Finesse during the Little Rock incident. Though he began this journey with an unblemished record, which played in his favor during the federal trial, he was not so fortunate at the state level. Now marked as a felon, Dirt was met with less leniency, leading to a stern sentencing of 5 years in an Arkansas state penitentiary. And that wraps up part 2 of our Little Rock Power Ultra Lounge interrogation series. To all our subscribers, your ongoing support is the lifeblood of this channel, and I'm genuinely grateful for each and every one of you. If you're new here, consider subscribing. We'd love to welcome you to our rapidly expanding community. Behind the scenes, I've been delving deep and piecing together an array of never-before-heard interrogations, and I can't wait to share them with you. Till then, this was Crime Nexus. Stay safe and stay curious.